So I actually have a really important question to ask you before we get into this podcast.
Okay.
A totally unprepared question that was on the top of my mind, and I had to save this until we started the podcast.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you should be scared.
Oh, shit.
So this morning, your face.
Like, what did I do?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what the fuck you did. So this morning, you woke up laughing, looked at me and said, "Cheesecake over your head."
I almost forgot.
What does that mean? I had to let it go because I was like, you know what, I gotta ask her on that podcast. But like, I tried asking you. There was a lot of times where I was like, huh? And you just laughed, and I'm like, yeah. What does cheesecake over your head mean?
Were you already awake?
Yeah, I was awake for like a good 15 minutes, and you just looked at me and said, "Cheesecake over your head." I'm like, huh?
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up and let you explain.
What is wrong with me?
You tell me.
Did I look at you in the eyes? Like, were my eyes open or was I like asleep?
They were like half open, and then like, and do you even remember this?
I do remember like laughing and like waking up because I laughed out loud. Like I wasn't awake and like my thoughts were like working. I woke up from my own laughs.
So
hey, this is how happy I am these days.
Wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so are you gonna tell me what the fuck that means?
What can I say, Richie? Sometimes you got cheesecake on your head.
So my interpretation of it was like I sleep on my side and my hair kind of spills on the pillow in the shape of a cheesecake.
You really interpreted that shit?
Did you expect me to not interpret it? You're just like, oh yeah, cheesecake over my head, right? No, like that. I feel like this is a very important thing. I
would really love to ask my dream state.
You don't even know.
I don't know what the heck that means.
No, it's so funny. You know what's so funny? So I don't even know if you remember. I literally asked, like, I had to make sure. I made sure maybe 4 times, like, cheesecake over my head. And you literally like, mm-hmm. I'm like, cheesecake over my head? You go, uh-huh. I'm like, what? Huh? And you just...
I'm crazy.
Welcome back to Next Stop New Earth, your favorite podcast in the Glarfnian galaxy. I'm your host, Glarf Chad, and...
I am Yoonha Verse.
Yeah, so...
yeah, wow. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thanks for not answering my question.
I would love to answer that question. It was some sort of like code that I'm never gonna tell you. It was like my alien being speaking.
Wow, this is like light language. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
I don't think I've ever woken up because of my own laughs.
Yeah, but that was
I remember
insane.
it being funny.
I was like, gosh, like I need to know what's going on in that mind, but
okay.
I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. Anyways, so today's our last day in Bali, and we are about to head back to Korea with our little baby Sachi. And
can you believe it that it's the last day? We've been here for like 2 months.
2 months, and along with that, like I feel like we're coming back into Cheonggu. And I really feel like I'm a completely different person, like from 1 month ago. Mm-hmm. And gosh, I know you probably feel that same way about yourself. And I think just to expand on that, for example, I feel so much less doubt being in this path. I feel so much more confident about where I'm going. I know how to navigate my emotions so much more.
Yes.
And I have moments, you know, where on like little bike rides or whatever, I catch myself feeling bad, and instead of it just like letting that affect me, I'm able to notice it and just be like, wait, why the fuck am I doing that? And then I raise my frequency again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is so fucking insane, and I want to know if you feel that same way.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much we've evolved. I mean, we are never gonna not continue to evolve, right? But thinking about where we were 2 months ago versus now, it is pretty crazy. And yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like as a human being, I just feel way stronger.
Bless you. There it is. Bless you. Oh my gosh. Gesundheit. The double. So as a human, you feel way stronger, and
not stronger than my sneeze, apparently.
Apparently not.
But I feel way stronger as a human being, like physically, obviously, because we've been like working out and you know, I used to never work out like that, but now I actually like enjoy working out, which is crazy.
It's amazing.
So I feel stronger that way, and also mentally and spiritually, like you said. We've always been about this path, about this life, right? Which is why we even decided to travel in the first place.
Yeah.
But still, of course, we're still human, and because the path that we chose comes with a lot of uncertainty and a lot of like unknown territories.
Literally
about the
traveling
future.
with a one-way ticket. Don't know where we're going to stay in the next couple of days.
Our careers are very like,
quote unquote, unstable.
It can go anywhere.
Could go anywhere. Yeah.
So of course we have our like moments of doubting ourselves and feeling fear and all that, but I feel like we also did come to Bali with the intention of like, let's really focus on ourselves and like remove limiting beliefs and go deep within. And so I feel like we've kind of achieved that
a lot
goal,
of that. Yeah.
Which
Going
is
Bali,
so amazing.
Proud of us. High five. Hey.
I think now I just feel self-doubt way less than before. And even if I do, like you said, one of the most important things one of the most important skills that I have right now, especially after the silent meditation retreat, is that I can notice them and do something about it.
Yeah. And that's so fucking amazing. The
thoughts are like, not like they're here and I watch them. And I'm like, I'm
not going to let that control me no more.
No control.
But I think that alone in itself has been such a huge driving factor to our growth, right? Because we have that base knowledge and are able to separate ourselves from our thoughts, we are able to do so much. Because going into that unknown territory for anybody, right? Obviously, like, this might be like a huge thing for us, but this might even just be like going to, I don't know, fucking like freshman year of high school for somebody. That unknown territory is a lot, and it's hard to deal with that unknown, because you don't know what's in there. You don't know what's going to happen to you. And I will say, I really think that the one thing that has helped me, at least, is exactly what you talked about, being able to be detached from my thoughts and know that those thoughts aren't, they're not me. And I think, did you have something to say?
Well, I was going to say, when it comes to just dealing with the unknown, I always refer back to this quote, which is that in the unknown, the only thing you will find is more of yourself. More of yourself. And I freaking love that and believe that so much. So yeah, thinking about it that way also helps a lot. But yeah, knowing that we're not our thoughts, which is what we are talking about today. Because, and the reason why we are talking about this, one of our favorite topics, I know, it's like such a base, core, foundational principle that, like, if you're gonna be here in the new earth, you need to know this shit. And what's crazy to me is there are so many people out there who have absolutely no clue what this concept even is. Right? There's people who are just living their lives just completely unaware of their thoughts, which is crazy, because this helps us so much. But like, if we didn't really get into this, then we could have lived our entire life without ever knowing this, which is insane. And so once you become aware of these things, a lot of shit changes. And so that's what we are giving to you guys, because we want y'all to change and we want to see that growth. But first off, right, it's it's noticing that you even have a voice in your head, and that voice in your head isn't you. And there's a lot of people who are wondering, like, what voice in my head are you talking about? Right? They're just me.
And so
I got an experiment for that.
yeah,
My favorite experiment that I love to tell people about, and people, I don't know, so many people that I've brought this up to, they are just like, whoa, you just did something to my brain. So I love it. I can't take credit for it. It is from the book The Untethered Soul by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
But
oh, Michael A. Singer, sorry, not Eckhart Tolle.
Right. It is from the book. The Untethered Soul by
Michael A. Singer.
Yes. So the experiment goes, imagine just saying hello in your head right now. Don't say it out loud, but imagine yourself saying hello, hello, hello. Okay, can you imagine that?
Okay.
You hear it, right? In your head.
I imagined it.
Right. So now that you can hear that voice in your head, even though you're not actually saying it, that's the voice. So who's the one who's listening to that voice?
Me.
So which one are you? Are you the voice or are you the person listening to it?
Whoa.
Okay, Mitch, you already know this concept. Don't fucking pretend.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, so that's just a little thought experiment just to show that like a lot of people, well, first off, they don't even know that there's a voice in their head. Again, like they think that voice is them, but there's that subject-object relationship where it's like if you can hear it, if you can witness it, someone has to be witnessing it.
Yes.
You know,
so maybe you are the observer of that voice.
So,
I wish we had a sound machine.
Oh. Oh.
Nah, I love that shit. I love that shit so much.
Yeah. And so with that being said, I actually just want to do a little thought experiment now that you are aware that you have that voice in your head, which is your thoughts.
That subject-object relationship.
Yeah. We're going to take a second here. And if you're listening to this, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Just relax yourself a bit. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. Keep your eyes on the road. And I'm going to sit here in silence, and I want you to ask yourself, I wonder what my next thought will be. I'm going to sit in silence here and just take a second and observe whatever thoughts or voice comes up. And in that silence, you know, my voice is wondering and thinking, my thoughts are thinking about the next thing that I'm going to say, you know, in this podcast.
I noticed.
Yeah, what'd you notice?
I noticed, oh, Richie took this from me to look cool. I noticed the carpet, and I also thought about, will people get this? Are people following along? I thought about that. I thought about one other thing, but I forgot. But yeah, just to show you that, like, I don't even know, it was like 20 seconds or something. I already had like 4 to 5 different thoughts just like bouncing everywhere.
Yeah. And so what that whole act is, noticing that voice and just noticing that it exists, separating yourself from it and just watching it and letting it go on, that, my friends, is meditation. Congratulations, you have been meditated baited.
Meditated baited.
Meditated baited.
We don't catfish you. We meditated baited you.
You just got meditated baited. See, a lot of people have this weird connotation that like meditation has to be like a fucking.
Do people think that exact thing that you just did?
Probably not.
I mean, a lot of people out there. There's someone.
If people are wondering how the fuck I made that voice, that noise.
Oh, Rich is secretly really good at beatboxing and making voices. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I agree. And meditation will be a whole other episode where we'll get into like the nuts and bolts of it. But the very foundational thing about meditation is just noticing your thoughts.
Yeah, right. Just observing and then noticing what you're observing.
Yes, and letting them go and continuing to ask like, okay, I wonder what my next thought will be, and then noticing that and then letting that go. And I love doing this. I think I'm like a really visual person, so when I do a lot of guided meditations, there are so many different techniques of doing this, noticing your thoughts and letting them go. So I wanna bring some of them up. You could picture yourself being the sky, and each thought that comes up being different clouds. So you could sit there and have all these like clouds coming and going, and clouds are always moving, right? So one thought comes and then it goes, and another one comes and it goes. That's like a more gentle version. I do also like the balloon popping one.
Balloon popping. I actually don't know about that one. What is that?
It's each thought being its own balloon, and again you're kind of like the sky, and so you have all these like balloons rising, and then they pop, and when they pop they're gone. I kind of like that more because clouds sometimes move pretty slow. Yeah. So I like popping the balloons more.
Okay, that's cute. I think the one that stood out to me a lot in The Unto the Soul is watching them like cars passing on a highway. Right? Because,
and you're sitting like...
And you're sitting just watching it. Yeah. Just watching all those thoughts go by. Because one thing that is super important in meditation is not holding some sort of attachment to whatever it is that you're perceiving, and you're just letting it go. And as you're driving down the highway and you're watching all these cars just like drive past, you're not gonna have like a second thought about them. Right. You see them, they enter your field of vision, you perceive them, and they're gone, and you don't ever think about them ever again.
Oh my God, I just remembered. Yeah. When I first used to meditate, I had like a lot of intrusive thoughts. I think they were like testing me.
Really? Wait, what the fuck?
I mean, like now I'm like pretty...
Like you wanted to like kill someone?
Kind of like pretty dark thoughts. So like now I'm like really good at... I'm not gonna like go into details. Okay. But I even brought this up to my therapist. This was like years ago. Because I was like, am I a bad person? Like I try to like watch my thoughts, and sometimes it's like some crazy shit. Yeah. Yeah, and I just was like pretty concerned. Because I was just like, yo, what? Like, do other people have these random thoughts? Because it's like, I think I was trying to force myself to not have any thoughts because I thought
when you meditated.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was about like just emptying your mind. So then I guess my mind was kind of like, oh, you feel like you can empty your thoughts? Here's a crazy thought. And it's like someone dying or like, you know. Fuck. And wow. Yeah, I don't have that anymore. I mean, everyone has intrusive thoughts though, so that doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
And to transition that with those thoughts, as we have a buildup of those subconscious thoughts that we usually do not think about, those thoughts form opinions, and those opinions all come together and slowly prove themselves right to create our perception of reality. And that's essentially what thoughts are. They're just an opinion. They're just a perception. They aren't the truth. And a lot of the times we hold that attachment to our voice. We hold that attachment to our thoughts, and we think that it is objective truth. But it's like no, dude. Like, it's just a thought. Like, you're not changing anything in the world. You're not changing matter literally with your fucking like thoughts. I mean, maybe you are if you're like that's another thing to get into.
Wait. Well, let's give some like simple examples of this. Like, we could both know the same person and have completely different opinions about that person. Who's right, who's wrong? I mean, if we're really invested in that opinion and I think someone's a bitch and you're like, nah, this person's awesome, maybe I'll think that I'm right and you'll think that you're right. But we know that those are not objective truths. Like, both can be true, both can be wrong. It's just our thoughts.
Yeah, and that's the thing with our thoughts, and the reality that we live in. Right?
I have another example. Yeah. I just thought that I was really weak physically, and when we started working out, I was like, yo, this is just like not for me, like I can't do this, blah blah blah. But then I literally proved my thought wrong, and now I'm slowly guiding it to think that like I'm strong.
Yeah, so like,
oh my god, it reminds me of that experiment.
Which one?
That your friend talked about. The one where like you can't. Can you talk about it?
Yeah. So there's an experiment where they had these people walking around a room, and as they were walking around that room, they repeated to themselves, "I cannot walk around this room. I cannot walk around this room. I cannot walk around this room. I cannot walk around this room." And they just kept walking. Cannot walk around this room. Cannot walk around this room. Kept walking. And then afterwards, they had a second group come in that didn't do all of that, and all together, they placed their hands onto a hot pan. And the group that walked around the room and said, "I cannot walk around this room," apparently had a 40% increase in pain tolerance.
You remember the percentage?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. That's just how I am.
You're smart.
Thanks.
That's my man. But I love that so much.
That's insane,
it's so
right?
cool.
But I didn't really necessarily explain yet as to why that happened. And so you start to think like, okay, like why did that happen? And what it is as they were walking around that room and telling themselves, "I cannot walk around this room, I cannot walk around this room," they had this realization, they made this connection that although they may be saying something about themselves, it doesn't have to necessarily be true.
Yes.
And so as they were placing their hands on that hot pan, and that thought came up, "I cannot have my hand on this hot pan, I gotta let go of this," subconsciously they held some sort of realization that like, oh, like that's not true.
Oh, like whatever I think in my head, I guess it doesn't always mean that it's true.
Yeah. It's all just this perception.
I freaking love that so much because I think that's such a good example of how we are not our thoughts, and we are maybe perhaps way more capable
than
our
we
thoughts have us believe.
Right.
And so after I watched that video, I would be at the gym and I would like literally just be lifting and be like, "I cannot lift this, I cannot do one more rep, I cannot do one more rep," while doing it. It was so dope.
Did you actually hear me while I was in my life maxing call this morning?
I don't know, I was thinking about the cheesecake on your head.
Oh, you were So
I didn't hear you.
someone sent in their journal because I had them do that for a task today, actually, and it was so absolutely beautiful. So they were on a run, and they stopped and they went on a walk because they were in like a stint, and they couldn't they couldn't run anymore, right? And so they were like, "Damn, like I want to get my health back up." So they went on a run, but they got tired. They're like, "This is too hard. I can't do this right now." And then at that same time, I actually posted my week 6 task, my videos and tasks. So they listened to it, and they were originally
While running?
While walking.
Oh, okay.
They're walking. now.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Okay, like challenging my limiting thoughts about what's hard. I'll do that when I get home, right?" As in like, okay, I'll study on this test that I'm procrastinating on because I feel like I can't do it. And then they realized, wait, I can challenge myself right now. And so they actually started telling themselves, "I can't run. I can't run. I can't run. I can't run." And as they noticed it, they started running, and they were running, and they ran all the way to their old high school and back to their house while repeating that entire time, "I can't run. I can't run. I can't run. I can't run." But they kept doing it, and they shared, "Oh my God, that unlocked something in me."
Wow.
Because it showed me that I was stopping myself from in other areas of my life because I was giving up with my thoughts before even giving myself a chance.
Yeah.
I was giving myself a way out. And then they were thinking like, damn, you know, they opened up about their health and their meditation and their mental, and was like, "Oh, yo, there was doctors who told me that they don't know how to help me. And because of that, I gave up. But I know now that I don't have to believe that."
Right.
I don't
my
have
God.
to believe.
That makes
I don't
me
have
cry.
I don't. I don't have to subscribe to those thoughts. And I thought that was so fucking cool.
Wow.
That was so cool. And yeah, that's beautiful. That's my plug for the Life Maxing program.
Join the Life Maxing program.
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3.
Oh,
I don't even know if I'm
did
gonna
it
edit
the opposite way.
Whatever.
That is so awesome.
That is so awesome. Yeah. I think just another example that was in my mind, by the way, of what living in your thoughts can look like versus awareness of your thought can look like is this. It's let's say you were out on the street and somebody just kind of like looked funny or they were doing something weird. Your thought might be like, oh, why is he doing that? Like, why does he look like that? You know, and you just kind of judge that person. And then the awareness of the thought is, wait, why did I think that? Like, oh, why did I have that thought? Why did I have that judgment?
Right.
And that distinction, that self-awareness, that's key.
That is so key.
Fucking everything. I know, for example, like you have dealt with that a lot when it comes to your shame about yourself. You hold negative thoughts about yourself, and I know that you wanted to share that on this podcast. So I'm curious to know, like, what did that look like for you?
Well, I think that, well, even recently, right? Just before I go all the way back, I think recently when you were talking about the map of consciousness and all that stuff, shame was like the last tier of emotion.
The lowest frequency.
The lowest
emotion.
Frequency. And as much as like I've evolved and I do operate from like a lot of the times courage, love, and all of that. When I saw that and you asked me like, okay, what does your like day-to-day frequency look like from here? What's the range? It was also like shame and guilt were still included because I do tend to be very hard on myself and I'm a perfectionist and I always think that I could be better and better. So yeah, I just noticed that like, damn, I do really like hold shame in me. And so since then, maybe that was like a month ago, right? I've been really trying to notice whenever I feel shame.
Operating from that place of consciousness, just like awareness and
I catch myself, right? Like even when I meditate, right? And when we do guided meditations and sometimes it says, what are some behaviors or thoughts or patterns in your life that you will never continue from now on? I've been just really thinking about, I refuse to feel shame about myself and I refuse to judge myself so much. Yeah. Right? And because that's like so ingrained in me right now, it's not that I've completely removed them and I'm just like, all the time. It's that I am able to notice them so quickly because I'm aware and I can detach myself from that pattern while being compassionate because I'm like, okay, I did have shame and guilt for years, so it's not going to go away right away, but now I can notice them and do something about that and like guide my thoughts to remove that pattern. So thanks to you.
It's a two-way street though, right? Like I can give you that information, but it's up to you to put in that work.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing with that lately. But I will say that before I met you, I've told you this multiple times, and it's even like shown up in my music, right? Before Yoonha Core, Loners and Lovers, the other project, is about my sad girl era. And that was when I wouldn't say severely depressed. I was pretty mildly depressed from like when COVID started for until, I don't know, maybe like 2 years or so. And I think that time period, it was really hard for me to like detach myself from all these negative thoughts I was having about just the state of the world because of COVID. And that's when like the Black Lives Matter movement was happening, and I was just like so depressed about the economy, like capitalism, all this shit. But then also more personally, like, damn, I came to LA and now like everything's shut down. Like, will I ever make it as an artist? Like, am I stupid for like going for this? Like, just so many thoughts, right? And I was just like stuck in that cycle, and so glad that I am not in that position anymore. And I did learn a lot from that era, my sad girl era. But yeah, I think one of the main keys to getting out of that was knowing that I am not my thoughts and being able to detach from them, and that like I can do something about them.
Because when you are attached to your thoughts like that, and you are attached to the stories that you are telling yourselves, first off, you get trapped, right? Like if you are attached to those thoughts, more likely than not, you're gonna find comfort in that, and you're gonna be like, okay, like I'm just gonna stick
you're
with these.
addicted to your thoughts, even if they're negative.
You get addicted to them, even if they're negative. And then secondly, because that becomes your whole identity, and you think that you are your thoughts, you don't even know who you are without those thoughts. You don't know what your life would look like outside of those thoughts, and that honestly like is scary. You lose a little bit of yourself when you detach yourself from your thoughts. It's like, who the fuck am I, right? And so
a lot of people want to, like, a lot of people say that they want to change, but honestly, we gotta call them out a little bit, because I had to be called out when it comes to this. People say they want to change, but sometimes they find a lot of comfort. Like, human beings like things to be familiar and for them to feel like they're in control. So even if where you are mentally is a very negative space, it's the known. So, and
there's a lot of control there, like you said, there's familiarity in there, and it's better to stay in that known than explore what the fuck is out there.
Right. It's like, oh, if I'm not this like judgmental or negative person anymore, then like who the fuck even am I?
Yeah, that's crazy. I think also to talk about change real quick, just to call the people out, right? Like, people want all of that external, they want the external change, but they're not willing to put in the internal work that it requires to evolve into the person you need to be to get that external change.
Yes. So again, detaching your thoughts is key.
So key. And if you are stuck wondering, right, like, okay, well, what am I then without my thoughts? If I am not my thoughts, you know, and it is kind of scary to imagine that, to imagine that I can be someone who isn't how I am right now. Like what the fuck is that unknown? One thing that I really want you guys to know is that it's the way that you're thinking about who you even are is a little backwards. You are not a human body that happens to be aware. The key component about you and the way that it is that you are awareness that's in a human body. You are not this human body that is playing this game of life. You are not that character.
Yes,
what you are.
We love to get into this.
We love to get into this, yo. I fucking talk about this all the time.
This makes me so happy that we're talking about this.
Excited that we're finally talking about this.
Yes.
Right?
You have no idea like how this is like such a freaking awesome outlet for us, because we talk about this all the time. But, like,
and we've been meaning to like have a place to put this all. Whoa, you just shake your bosom.
I was love surging.
Oh, you love surged.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we needed a place to really talk about this and just put it all together so we don't have to fucking repeat ourselves. But,
we can just refer to this.
You can refer to this now and be like, yeah, refer to episode 3. A lot of people are attached to the character that they're playing, right? And this who you think you are right now is a character, and you are actually the observer of this character.
Yes.
And so I want to do my own little thought experiment here, right? To help you understand what that means. You are the observer of your thoughts.
Before
right?
you start, I just want to say Richie's done this to so many people. When people ask about like, oh, okay, so what does spirituality mean to you? And because this is like a key component of what people need to understand to even like understand everything else. And I just love it. I mean, I've heard this like 100 times, but
I'm so excited. Like in the future episodes, whenever people are like, "What is consciousness?" and if we ever need to like talk about it, we're like, "So if you don't know what consciousness is, refer to episode 3."
I know.
It's amazing. I love that. So here is what that means: that you are awareness, that you are consciousness, you are observer inside of a human body, right? So this is again from a concept from The Untethered Soul, Michael A. Singer. Love that book so much. We'll recommend it till the day that I
till the day that I die. Continue.
Till the day that I die and transform into a light being. The thought experiment goes as this. I'm going to ask you, who are you? Right? And you might give me your name. Okay, well, I'm Richard Sabiaga. But obviously, that doesn't quite capture the totality of what you are. And then, I could ask you again. So, like, well, if you're not your name, then who are you? And you can give me your list of experiences. And you can say, okay, I'm Richard Sabiaga. This is my friends. This is where I go to school. This is my career, what I'm aiming to do. But that doesn't necessarily describe what you are, right? It describes the experiences that you've gone through, but who experienced them? Who experienced those things, right? And so then you might say, okay, I am this body that's occupying this space and time right now. But even then, your body is constantly changing. It's a completely different person than who it was 7 years ago. And I think, I believe it is every 7 years that your cells are constantly are completely turned over and you're a completely new person. And then, obviously you know that you aren't your thoughts. You're not your feelings. And so you take all of that away. You take away your experiences, you take away your name, you take away your body, you take away your thoughts, and you look at what's left and it's like, okay, like, what am I? Right? And all that you are left with is just the awareness of your being. The one true essence that seems to be continuous, that the continuous inherent quality that defines your very being is the awareness of being inside of your human body. That is who you truly are, and that is the one thing about you that never ever changes. I mean, even try imagining not being aware. You can't. I mean, you could try imagining.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean, right? Like, you could try imagining that as just blackness, but even then, that is the awareness of blackness. You could imagine. You can't imagine that. What you're left with is that awareness, and so you are consciousness, you are awareness that is living inside of a human body. You are not this person, you are not this thoughts, you are not the experiences, you simply just are.
Just like my tattoo.
Your tattoo? What tattoo do you have,
I don't even know if people can see this. It's pretty small, but I got this tattoo in Korea and it just
really
says I am. Thank you. It just says I am, and then my mold as the period. So it says I am period bitch. Oh, it doesn't say bitch. I am period.
Right. And so I guess a lot of people could be confused by that if they didn't know this concept, and they're like, I am what? Right? So what does that tattoo mean to you? Like, why did you get it?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you said. I think I talked about this on episode 1, how I've constantly gone through an identity crisis as an Asian American immigrant. So I've always asked the question, like, who am I? And when it comes down to it, like you said, I am just that awareness. So that's basically what it means. I am.
Yeah.
And I got it on my arm so that I can look at it and be reminded of what I truly am, which is that I just am.
Right.
I am.
I think what's so beautiful about that statement of just like I am is that it really encapsulates the totality of your being. It doesn't define you. It doesn't like not define you. It doesn't limit you to what you are. It captures everything. Like you just are. There's so many people who probably do actually think this way, you know, who are observant about their thoughts. And I think especially as kids, like as you're growing up, a lot of this stuff like just isn't filtered in your mind. You know, I've said before, you tend to question a lot as a kid. You're told not to question a lot. And because this isn't like a mainstream thing that's talked about, like people think they're crazy.
Yeah, I saw some comments on TikTok when people were talking about this, and people were like, oh my god, so I wasn't crazy this entire time when I could like hear my thoughts, and then like I was just like, well, wait, why am I hearing my thoughts? People just thought that they were crazy. Nah, you were just like advanced.
Yeah, you're just witness. Yeah, you're just observant shit, man.
So I feel like by us talking about this, yes, our intention is to like bring awareness. Get it? Bring awareness to the fact that this is a thing for people who've never thought about it this way, but also to like bring some comfort to people who maybe have had these thoughts, and to let you know that you are not crazy.
Yeah. One thing I do want to point out, by the way, is that none of your thoughts are you. Like none of them, right? You might think one thought is you and the other thought isn't, but like no, like none of them are you.
Right.
Right. It's you might think that you have like a negative judgment, and then you're like, oh, I'm the one that's like against the judgment.
Yeah, so when
I'm
you have a
the good
positive thought,
right,
they might be like, oh, I am this.
Like, no, you're neither of them, right? But
important.
But your reality does become which thoughts you pay attention to.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is what we'll get into.
Yeah, we get into that. But until then, right? Like, what can you do with this information? You know, knowing that you aren't your thoughts.
Yeah, we just told you all that so that you can feel crazy. Just kidding.
Nightmare.
Just like, oh my god, thought, I can hear them. Nah, this is like,
and that's the end of the episode.
Oh my god.
just don't give
like,
them anything to do with that.
This is a fucking like troll episode. Like, hey, good luck with that now. Good luck with that information.
Like, how fucked up would that be, right? If like you're just like talking to some like 8-year-old who like has never heard about the concept of like death ever, and you're just like, hey, you know, one day you're not going to be on this earth, and you just walked away.
Yo.
Just like activated their frontal cortex, and it's just filled with fear. Anyways, yeah, what do you do with this information now?
What do you do with this? Well, I think one, this is so exciting that we're talking about this because I truly believe that this fundamental information is the beginning. I was almost gonna say beginning of your spiritual journey. When we talk about different topics in spirituality, like everything comes back to this
consciousness,
that you are consciousness. And just to give some I don't know, should we give some spoiler? When we talk about consciousness, we will get into this later, but consciousness is synonymous. Consciousness is synonymous with the source, universe, God, existence, whatever you want to call it. So that is what you are. And now with this information, you can start your beautiful spiritual journey. But besides that, even if you're like, oh, I didn't sign up for this, I'm not ready for like this whole shaboing boing, right?
It's too late. We told you the information. Now you'll never be able to not think about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've watched this like episode, like it's kind of too late now. Like you're gonna be thinking about this, and you can try to forget, but just know that the void will always be calling your name.
Oh my god. We will be watching you. Which camera are you watching? Okay, well,
Yeah.
so even if you're like, whoa, I'm not like trying to get into all that stuff. How can people use this information?
Yeah.
Detaching from your thoughts is just so freaking beneficial for so many
Right.
different reasons.
Yeah. At the very least, you can start living your life like it's a fucking video game, right? You can at least like not let all the bad shit, not just knowing that you aren't your thoughts, knowing that you are consciousness, knowing that you're just an observer watching this character and this life. Things don't affect you as much.
Right.
Things just don't affect you as much. You know that everything is transitioning. You know that everything, you'll never be able to fully quite grasp everything. You know, life is always changing, and so you can rest in that. You can rest in that and just watch the fucking movie and enjoy the ride. that
I
you're
also
in.
think that I just thought about this. I feel like when you practice detaching from your thoughts, you are able to take in the present moment as is way more than if you created some sort of like meaning that you're attaching to the present
Yeah.
moment. So yeah, just all in all, like it's great for you.
Yeah, right. Instead of holding some sort of like perception about things that are blocking you from seeing reality, if you're allowing yourself to see things just as they are, beyond just your thoughts, you just see clearer. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't want that.
I would love to like do some Q&As about this in the future because I feel like people might have a lot of questions that we are able to answer. So
Oh my
for
gosh.
example, what
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say for this specific information, right? Like it is impossible for us to never have thoughts as we
yeah.
live. So we're not telling you that, oh, just don't have thoughts,
Yeah.
right? Like go out your life without having any thoughts. It's not that. It's just that now that you know that you're not your thoughts, you're now aware that you have the ability to guide your thoughts to things that you want to think about so that you can feel good about life.
Yeah.
And again, this is not just like us saying think positive. It's not like those like toxic positivity type of talk. It's just that knowing that you have that power is so freeing, and you will live a good life with that information.
You live an amazing, a good life.
Good life.
A good life. And with that being
Why'd
said,
you say, oh
right?
my God?
Oh yeah. Oh, I was saying, oh my God, as in like, should we have our emails open for episode 4?
Oh my God.
Or I guess just a future episode. I don't know if we'll do episode 4 because we might be recording stuff in between, right? Like we haven't even posted episode 1 yet by the time that we're recording this.
Right.
So we might be like an extra 3 episodes deep, and then opening the Q&A. But should we open up
Oh,
email
100%.
here?
Yeah.
Okay, but by the time that episode 3 is out, we will have an email that you can reach out to. So send your Q&As or questions to the email in the description below of the YouTube video here.
Yeah, and it can be any questions or like if you need clarification about things that we talked about, but it can also just be sharing your life story and asking us for advice or our opinions on things. Yeah, we love to make this like a two-way street.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And finally, you know, now that you're able to watch your thoughts, I will say that is when you that's when you start to let go of the mind control that's out there. Did we talk about that episode 2? We talked about that, right?
Wait, say that sentence one more time. That's how you're able to control or let go of
the mind control, because everything's fighting for your attention and therefore telling you what to think. You can watch your thoughts and just be like, okay, no, I'm done with that shit.
Yes, you have the choice to guide your thoughts.
Yes. And then when you guide your thoughts and you free your mind, you control your reality.
Your frequency, therefore your emotion, therefore your reality, therefore everything.
Therefore everything. And then that's how we create the new earth.
Isn't this so fucking cool and freeing?
We're all just one big fucking family together now. That's just all have this shared information. It's like, all right, we out here.
We out here.
We out here for real.
I love talking about this so freaking much.
So amazing that this is finally just like off my damn chest, and we can move forward with more advanced topics, more interesting topics.
Yes, I just want this to be like such a like known fact.
Yeah,
I don't even
God.
like I love that. I love talking about this, and like I will gladly always explain to people who want to know more, but like I just want this to be like such a given, so we can all just like move on to the next
baseline. That's
raising
why
the baseline.
That's why in Avatar, by the way, bitches, they do that shit where it's like, I see you. They're talking about consciousness to consciousness,
Hey.
observer to observer.
Not Richard Sabiaga the person, but the consciousness that is behind your eyes. I see you.
Not universe, but the entire being that has watched everything that you have gone through from childhood up until this moment, all of your ups and downs, all of your wins and your losses. I see you.
And
that is the basis of our foundation, and that
we connect hair.
and we connect hair. That's something. And that is the basis of our foundation, and that's why we're together, and that's why our relationship is awesome.
You remember one of
What?
the first crazy things that you asked me when we were talking about this? We were FaceTiming.
I do. You want to say it?
So we were talking about consciousness and just like really bonding over that. And then he just goes,
We're not dating at this time. Like
No.
we're just homies.
we were just homies like who love talking about this shit. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm saying the verbatim exact thing that you said to me.
Yeah.
I think you said, yeah, so from soul to another soul, how has existence been for you? And I felt that so much from my like awareness level. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I feel so seen, like so naked.
And so, gentlemen out there,
oh my god, you pickup line?
yeah, gentlemen out there. No, not a pickup line. But
555.
wow, that is crazy.
Wow.
Spiritual girls.
Trust in me like 555.
Yeah, so gentlemen out there, if you want to pick up a spiritual lady, or just maybe any lady, I don't know, make them feel naked without taking their clothes off. How about that?
Wow. That's a clip. Editor?
Where that? Well, actually, AI editor. I don't know.
Sachi? That's a clip. And with that, I think that we talked about enough for people to be like, whoa, and take notes and rewatch.
Yep. So that's y'all's homework. Bless the new earth.
Bless the new earth.
Leave emails, I guess, into the description below.
And with that, we are off to Korea. So the next episode you see might be in Korea.
Who knows? We have no clue.
Next stop, New Earth.
That's our next stop. Okay. Bye.
Bye, we love you. I'm that bitch. You're that bitch.
We are bitches.
We are those bitches.
We are those bitches, those bitchy bitches with richy riches. I be out here giving stitchy stitches. I make them suck 'em on the dicky dickies while they on their knees low in they ditchy ditches.
And let the universe flow through us
flow through us, the hose to us. You already know how we go through this. We be flowing through this shit, letting go of control. You know how I do this, yeah, I do the most. Maybe I spit here, maybe I spit there, maybe I'm spitting my bars everywhere. Motherfucker, yeah, I go in the sun, that bitch is shining. I be out here while Richie, yeah, he is rhyming, spitting these bars out here in Bali. I be going hard, you know, I'm following.
The universe, let us be your vessels to share the truth for the people and to raise collective consciousness.